All right, so you apparently had a situation where you snatched Puffy's mic.
Yeah, man, that was it was crazy. You know what I mean? We got invited by Tretch to come to MTV Awards was doing a they was honoring Biggie and Pac. And at that particular time, Tretch had a song out dedicated to Pac, and Biggie had and Puffy had a song dedicated to Biggie, and I didn't want to do it. You know what I mean? Of course, at that time, our manager Steve Lobel, he was trying to really get us away from our small circle and try to get us to start rubbing shoulders on another level. So he was like, I think this would be good for your career to show that y'all on stage with Puffy. And I was still in that mindset back then, like I can't do it. You know what I mean? But the rest of the Outlaws is like, we have to do it. You know what I mean? It's good for our careers. Even Big Psych was there, like, man, do it. And I was like, man, no. So after a while, I came up with this plan, and kept it to myself. I was drinking, of course, and intoxicated. And I said, I'm gonna wait till we live on TV and I'm gonna just snatch the mic from Puffy, like while we live, you know what I mean? In rehearsal, I'm already, drinking and drunk. So in rehearsal, I'm saying lights and flashing, and I can't differentiate between rehearsal or live television. So while he had the mic, I just still snatched it from him, you know what I mean? And he came and tried to grab it back. We got into a little tussle. The security came, they kicked us out. So the Outlaws was, they was upset. Steve Lobel, Tretch was upset because he put his name on the line. And Shakim, like I said, Shakim, that's family. So Shakim came, to our room, was like, Puffy want to speak to you and you got to come alone. And I went to like this little side room. He was there with his boys. They could have got me. You know what I mean? I don't even know why I done it. So I went in the room and Puffy was there with his boys and he was like, why you do it? I said, you know why I done it, man. Let's not even go back and forth. You know what I mean? And it was one of them things, man. I was just a young, wild dude that, my emotions I couldn't keep it together. And yeah, it happened.
Okay, so he just let you go at that point?
Yeah. It's not he could have done like to, you know what I mean? Like I still have my like, everybody was with me around the corner. He was just probably he was trying to figure out. I remember him saying, "Why did you do it?" You know what I mean? And I think Big G is Edie uncle. He was the only one in there with me with Shakim. And I'm feeling uncomfortable because I'm looking at Shakim. Shakim was family, so I know he's not gonna put me in a situation that's detrimental for myself, detrimental. So I'm looking at Shakim like, why do you bring Puffy with all his boys to security? And you tell me to come along. Good, G came with me, but I'm like, why you bring me back here? And Puffy was like, why did you do it? And I was like, why I done it. You know what I mean? We can't even, let's not. And I remember him saying something like, man, that's why I'm about to move to Europe. I'm tired of this mess. And then we just walked away. Never seen him again after that. But I'm sure that's probably one of the reasons our careers didn't really go up, because at that time, people were still hating on us on the radio and we felt blackballed at that particular time.
Well, you were there during the situation when Pac ran into Nas.
Yes, I was there.
Okay, and apparently you brought all your Jersey guys with you, like 30 guys who all had guns on them.
Yes, we was deep. We were strapped. You know what I mean?
And I remember I saw an interview that Snoop did that we had on our channel that said, Snoop, I guess, was there also. And he said that like Pac had 100 guys with guns and Nas had 100 guys with guns. And it was a very tense situation.
Yes. What Snoop was saying, like pretty much from what he said, it wasn't accurate when he was like Nas gave Pac a pass. Like Snoop exact words was like, I'm from the streets, I'm a gangbanger. So I seen that if Nas wanted to, he could have, rolled on Pac, which far from the truth because, like I said, I was there with Jersey, all my homies was there, and we were strapped. And then you had Gaddafi and Fatal Boys was there, they were strapped. And then you had the Outlaws, then you had Death Row members there and the security there. Don't get me wrong, Nas was deep. I think if it would have went down, it probably would have been a bloodbath. It would have been an unfortunate situation. But I appreciate the way Nas and Pac handled it. You know what I mean? I think that's something that, and that should go down in the history of hip hop, that two generals was able to show the rest of the people how to confront a situation manly, talk it out, shake hands, and move on. You know what I mean? So I think it was dope the way Pac and Nas handled it.
Well, prior to the Vegas incident, there was the situation when Snoop was in New York and he got on the radio and said that he has no problems with Biggie or Puffy or whatever, that those are his homies. But I remember in an interview you recently did, you talked about how previous to that, Snoop was in the studio with Pac dissing Biggie and Puffy.
True. You know what I mean? That's why Pac, see, people was making it seem like Pac was just this angry hater. You know what I mean? That he was trying to bring other members in Death Row to come and partake in his beef with Bad Boy, but that's not true. Pac and Snoop fell out, not just because he went on Angie Martinez and said that that's my homie, because if that's how he was from the beginning, Pac would have respected that. You know what I mean? If he would have said to Pac from the beginning, like, look, man, I don't want nothing to do with this beef. They my homies. I can't get involved. Pac would have respected that. But when Snoop was in LA, he was doing songs dissing Biggie, talking bad about Biggie and Puffy. You know what I mean? Then go to New York. Remember that when they were shooting that video out there, Biggie got on the radio and some people came and shot at him. He went back and started doing diss track records against Biggie. So Pac is the type of person, if you come straight forward and say, nah, I'm not getting involved in your beef, he's going to say, no problem. So he wasn't mad at Snoop because of that. He was just mad that he felt like when Snoop was in LA, he was riding with him against Biggie. Then when he came in New York, he said he wasn't. You know what I mean? So that Pac was hurt.
Well, do you remember any of the verses that Snoop was doing against Biggie and them?
He has some verses, man. I don't remember offhand, but I remember hearing him like literally mentioning like, you know, Biggie's size and you know what I mean? And I remember Dead Eye. I remember him really coming at Biggie. You know what I mean? Like he was coming at Biggie, man. It wasn't definitely no secret. So that's why Pac was upset. You understand? Like Pac loved Snoop, and I'm sure Snoop loved Pac. We ain't gonna take that from him. They had a really good relationship. But Pac wasn't just mad because he got on there and said that's his homies. He was mad that he felt like he was playing both sides, you know?
Yeah, and I guess you feel some type of way because Snoop never really admitted to any of this or came forward with it.
I said it in the, you know, when I kept hearing these interviews, it seemed like Snoop kept throwing Pac under the bus. And that's the only reason I spoke about it, because I was ignoring it. You know, when I seen like a lot of interviews, it seemed like Snoop was just pushing Pac, like throwing Pac under the bus. It was an interview I seen that he did with Jada Pinkett, and Jada Pinkett was getting on Snoop for using the B word. And somehow he just brought Pac name up again. You know what I mean? Like, well, Pac is the one. So I just felt like as a friend, you Pac friend, you shouldn't always bring him up in negative conversations because he's not here to defend himself. And you say you his friend. Like, let us remember him in a positive way. We already got too many people that's trying to, you know, highlight the negative things that Pac did, because of course, he made many mistakes. He was a young guy. So as a friend, you should highlight the positive things. You know what I mean? And it seemed like he always highlight that Pac was the one bringing him back to disrespecting women and stuff like that. So that's why I spoke about it. You know what I mean?